This is how a woman destroyed a 4-year relationship in just 8 weeks, and didn't even realize it until he was gone. No screaming, no confrontation, just an empty closet and a blocked number. I'm Mrs. Emma, and today I'm sharing a story that will make you question everything you think you know about love, betrayal, and consequences. This is Raven's story, and trust me, you need to hear this. My name is Raven. I'm 26 years old, and I need to tell you about the day my entire world collapsed without making a single sound. It started like any other Saturday. I spent the afternoon at my mother's house laughing with my sister, drinking coffee, completely unaware that miles away, my boyfriend of 4 years was packing his entire life into boxes and walking out of our apartment forever. Nicholas and I had been together since I was 22. We'd built a life together, shared an apartment for 2 years, created routines, inside jokes, and future plans. That morning, everything seemed normal. He kissed me goodbye before I left, told me to drive safely, and said he'd see me later. But later never came. When I walked through our apartment door that evening, I knew immediately that something was wrong. The air felt different, too heavy, too silent. I called his name, but only my own voice echoed back. Then I saw it. His side of the closet was completely bare. Every shirt, every pair of shoes gone. In the bathroom, his toothbrush, cologne, and razor had vanished too. It was like watching a magic trick in reverse. Someone surgically removing a person from your life, one belonging at a time. My hands trembled as I grabbed my phone and called him, but it went straight to voicemail. I sent a text. It didn't deliver. Then came the sinking realization as I opened Instagram. Blocked. Facebook blocked. Snapchat blocked. In less than 8 hours, I had gone from having a boyfriend to having a ghost. I called everyone we knew, friends, coworkers, even his gym buddy. Nobody had answers, or maybe they did and just weren't telling me. I couldn't sleep or eat. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that empty closet. What made it worse was how deliberate it all was. Nicholas hadn't taken anything we bought together, the couch, the table, but he took only what was undeniably his. This wasn't impulsive. It was methodical. By day 3, I was having panic attacks, pacing at 3 a.m., staring at my phone, praying for a message that never came. When I finally called his parents, his mother's voice was cold. "Nicholas is fine," she said, "but he doesn't want to speak with you." Then she hung up. That's when my friend Tasha came over. She looked at me with pity and asked, "Raven, is there anything you need to tell me?" The way she said it, I knew. Somehow Nicholas knew about Julian. Here's the truth I've been avoiding. Things with Nicholas hadn't been perfect for months. He was working late, distant, exhausted, and I felt invisible. Then Julian started working at my company. He was charming, attentive, and he saw me. One happy hour turned into drinks alone, which turned into his apartment, which turned into 8 weeks of lies. I told myself it was just physical, that Nicholas and I were basically over, that I deserved to feel wanted again. For 8 weeks, I lived 2 separate lives, texting Julian during work, lying to Nicholas at home, and showering at the gym to hide the evidence. The worst part? I enjoyed it. The secret, the thrill, the feeling of being desired again. Looking back, Nicholas must have suspected something. He asked more questions, suggested getaways, date nights, things I brushed off as paranoia. I even used his trust against him. "Don't you trust me?" And watched him feel guilty for doubting me. 3 days before he disappeared, I forgot to log out of my email on our shared laptop. Julian had sent me hotel details for the weekend. That same week, Nicholas acted strange. Now I realize he must have found the email and decided to walk away silently. Who leaves without confrontation? Who doesn't yell, doesn't demand answers? His silence was worse than any anger could have been. 2 weeks later, Tasha called again. "Nicholas reached out," she said. "He wanted me to make sure you're okay. He knows about Julian. He has proof, messages, hotel receipts. He even followed you one night." I hung up and threw my phone across the room. The worst part wasn't that he knew. It was that other people did too. Nicholas had quietly sent the evidence to our closest friends, not out of revenge, but to explain. One by one, they turned away. "We trusted you," one text read. "Nicholas is heartbroken. How could you?" Even Julian started avoiding me, refusing to meet my eyes. The affair ended as quickly as it began. I tried to twist the story, told people we were already breaking up, that Nicholas was distant, that it was just one mistake, but no one believed me. My sister finally snapped, "You can't stand that he didn't give you the satisfaction of seeing him broken." She was right. His silence tortured me. I became obsessed with finding him, not to win him back, but to regain control. 2 months later, I saw him in the background of a friend's Instagram story, sitting at a coffee shop, calm and composed as if nothing had happened. After everything, the lies, the betrayal, the guilt, he looked fine. Not broken, just fine. He looked fine. Not devastated, not hollow, not broken. Just normal. Living his life. Something inside me snapped. While I'd been falling apart, missing work, having panic attacks on my bathroom floor, alienating everyone I knew, he'd been moving on. The unfairness of it felt suffocating. I didn't plan what happened next. The following morning, I just found myself driving to that coffee shop, arriving at 8:15. Nicholas had always been ritualistic about his morning routine. I parked across the street and waited, my heart hammering so violently I thought I might be sick. At 8:20, he appeared, walking up the street in his charcoal pea coat, looking healthy and rested and purposeful. I watched him order at the counter, exchange a familiar smile with the barista. How many times had he been here? Then settle at his usual table near the window. Before I could talk myself out of it, I was crossing the street, pushing through the door, walking straight toward him. He didn't notice me until I was standing right at his table, casting a shadow across his laptop. Raven. Just my name. Spoken flatly, with no emotion. As if he'd been expecting this moment. "You just left," I said, my voice sounding strange and strangled. "No explanation, no fight, nothing. 4 years and you just disappeared." "Sit down," he said quietly, glancing at the other customers who were starting to stare. "You're making a scene." I sat. My hands were shaking so badly I had to clasp them in my lap. "You know why I left," he said, his voice low but steady. "You know exactly why. You could have talked to me, given me a chance to explain." "Explain what?" For the first time, real anger flashed across his face. "How you lied to my face for months. How you were sleeping with your coworker while I was planning our future." "It wasn't what you think," I said, falling into the defenses I'd rehearsed. "Things between us weren't good. You were always working, always distracted. Stop." He held up his hand. "I'm not doing this. I'm not sitting here listening to you rewrite our entire relationship to justify your choices." "Then why did you have Tasha check on me?" I threw back at him. "Why do you care if I'm okay?" "Because I'm not cruel," he said simply. "I didn't want you spiraling, but that doesn't mean I owe you a conversation about this. I don't owe you anything anymore." His eyes were hard now. "You ended our relationship the moment you decided to." The barista approached, concern on her face. "Everything okay here?" "It's fine, Diane," Nicholas said. He knew her name. "I was just leaving." "Ma'am," the barista interrupted, "I'm going to have to ask you to lower your voice or leave." Nicholas gently removed my hand from his arm. "What you need isn't something I can give you anymore, Raven." "Where are you living?" I demanded, desperation making me reckless. "Are you seeing someone new? Is that it?" He sighed, looking genuinely exhausted. "This is exactly why I left the way I did. I knew any conversation would just be you trying to control the situation. Make yourself the victim. Find ways to blame me. I'm done with that dynamic." "Sir," the barista said, "do you need me to call someone?" "No need," Nicholas said, sliding his laptop into his bag. "To me," he added quietly, "don't come looking for me again. It's over. Let both of us move on." He paused, turned slightly. "No, it ended 2 months ago. This is just you refusing to accept it." 6 months after Nicholas disappeared, I was sitting in my new apartment. Smaller, in a worse neighborhood, all I could afford alone, when my sister dropped the bomb that shattered what little peace I'd managed to build. "Have you heard about Nicholas?" she asked carefully over coffee. 6 months. From discovering my affair to proposing to someone new. The cosmic unfairness of it burned like acid in my... That night, I broke my 6-week streak of not looking him up online. There it was. The announcement, the ring, the glowing comments from friends, our friends, congratulating him on finding someone who deserves you and celebrating their perfect match. Happiness more than anyone, to the life that was supposed to be mine. In every picture, Nicholas looked relaxed, genuinely happy in a way I couldn't remember seeing in our later years together. The most painful realization wasn't that he'd moved on, it was that he seemed better off without me. Then I saw it. A group message from one of our old friends, organizing Nicholas and Olivia's engagement party. I'd been, included by accident. They clearly hadn't meant to send it to me. But there it was. The venue, the date, the time. 3 glasses of wine later, the unthinkable became inevitable. I would go. Not to cause a scene, I told myself, just to see them together with my own eyes, to get the closure Nicholas had denied me. Fashionably late, my heart pounding as I rode the elevator to the rooftop venue. Name? The hostess asked cheerfully. Raven Mitchell, I said confidently. I'm with the engagement party. Raven? I turned to find one of our old friends staring at me, alarm spreading across her face. What are you doing here? That was sent to you by mistake. You know you're not supposed to be here. More heads were turning, and then, through the crowd, I saw him. Nicholas, handsome in a navy suit, his arm around a woman in a white dress. Our eyes met across the rooftop. His smile vanished. His body tensed, and he instinctively pulled her closer. A protective gesture that said everything about how he now saw me. As a threat. Raven, you need to leave, my old friend said, taking my arm. This isn't about you. It hasn't been about you for a long... As security escorted me to the elevator, I caught one last glimpse of the party. Nicholas was speaking urgently to Olivia, who looked concerned but not angry. Their friends had gathered protectively around them, shielding the happy couple from the crazy ex's intrusion. In that moment, the truth I'd been avoiding crystallized with perfect, painful clarity. I was the villain in their story, the obstacle they'd overcome, the cautionary tale they'd tell at dinner parties years from now. The next day, I received a text from an unknown number. This is Olivia. We need to talk. We met at a coffee shop by the river. She arrived exactly on time, taller than I'd imagined, with a quiet confidence that made me feel small. She wasn't wearing her engagement ring. She'd tucked it away for this meeting. No, he doesn't know I'm here, and I'd prefer to keep it that way. I wanted to see you for myself, she said simply. To understand the woman who haunts him. Something flickered in my chest. Triumph, maybe. So I'm not completely erased. No one had asked it so plainly before. It's complicated, I stammered. We grew apart, I said, falling back on the easiest explanation. He was working all the time. I felt neglected. And was it worth it? The affair? Obviously not. Look at my life now. That's not what I asked. I mean, in the moment when you were deciding to cross that line, did you think it would be worth whatever consequences might come? I didn't think there would be consequences, I admitted quietly. I never thought he'd find out. And if he did? She finished for me. You thought he'd forgive you? That's what I needed to understand, she said, almost to herself. You never really knew him at all, did you? The Nicholas I know would never stay with someone who betrayed him. Not because he's unforgiving, but because trust means everything to him. Once it's broken, it's broken. He doesn't do second chances with trust. For him, there was nothing to work through, she interrupted. Once you betrayed his trust, it was over. The Nicholas who loved you ceased to exist in that moment. He shared about his parents' toxic marriage built on lies and broken promises. How had I missed that this was his absolute line in the sand? Because you're still waiting for a different ending. Still convinced there's unfinished business between you. And as long as you believe that, you can't move forward. Neither can he completely. Neither can I. She paused, then looked back with a small, genuine smile. Yes, we are. And someday, Raven, I hope you find what, for the first time since he'd vanished, I truly understood. There had never been a chance for reconciliation. No. Combination of words or tears or promises could have changed the outcome. The moment I betrayed his trust, it was over. The realization didn't bring peace exactly, but it brought clarity. The story had ended. Not in the way I wanted or expected, but it had ended. And I had been the one who ended it with choices I couldn't unmake. I pulled out my phone and texted my sister. Can I come over? I think I'm finally ready to talk. Really talk. I began walking, not looking back. Nicholas was gone. The life we'd planned was gone. The version of myself all that remained was who I might become next. Whether I'd learn from my choices or repeat them. Whether I'd continue, the path forward looked lonely and uncertain. But for the first time in 6 months, at least it looked forward. Not back at. Maybe that was the only closure I was ever going to get. Hey everyone, it's Emma from Mrs. Emma, and I just wrapped up sharing Raven's story. If that tale stirred something inside you, whether it was anger, deep empathy, or maybe even a jolt of recognition, then it hit exactly the mark it was meant to. Because these stories, they're so much more than just entertainment. They're powerful mirrors, reflecting back to us the true cost of our decisions, the heavy weight of our betrayals, and that immense courage it takes to finally face the truth, head on. If Raven's journey resonated with you, if it sparked a thought or a feeling, please do me a favor. Hit that like button and share it with someone you know who needs to hear it. Honestly, we've all either walked in Raven's shoes or felt the sting of a Raven in our lives. And for more real, raw stories like this one, stories that genuinely remind us what truly matters in this wild ride called life, make sure you subscribe to Mrs. Emma. I'm Emma, and always remember, closure isn't a gift someone else gives you. It's a powerful strength you find and give to yourself. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.